Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again to the Growth Network. Hey, today we're going to touch on a subject that, for some strange reason, it seems always controversial. And this is about, you know, husband and wife, dating roles, all that kind of stuff. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, because it seems that I feel that since the untimely passing of my brother Kevin Samuels, I think that every man and woman also who are on these YouTube streets or social media streets putting out these podcasts, putting out these, these videos, these streams or what have you, every now and then should take time to, address the issue, especially in our community, to address the issue of the family and the roles of the husband and wives and the kids too, because I think a lot of it's missing. And the more as time passed, the further away we're getting away from, the whole marriage and, topic. I think what they say back in before the 50s and 60s, black people were married like 70%, at least 70% of all black couples, or 70% of all black people were in marriages, and now it's 70% of all kids are born, in a single parent home. But anyway, I say it to say this. We'll get to the story out of the sun.com, and it reads, they say, full-time wife. I serve my husband by laying his clothes out every day and making him pack lunches. It makes people mad, but I don't care. And it's interesting that she knew or knows that people are going to get upset by her even just saying this. But it's also sad that people get upset by her saying this. But let's dive into the story, because we're gonna let this one out for a minute. Like I said, got this from reading this from the sun.com, and it says a mom, so undoubtedly this is like a British magazine or whatever, periodical. A mom of one has sparked outrage online after revealing the long list of tiring chores she does for her husband. The woman, who is from the U.S. Now get that now. She's from the U.S. and goes by the acronym at G.R.O.W.T.H on TikTok, shared a short clip and wrote, "Things I do for my husband that will make the internet not mad." Like I say, it's amazing that she just knew this was going to make the internet, mainly women, mad because she's putting this up there. Crazy. Like I said, I'm going to put a link in the description box. But let's get into the story. She then went on to list all of the chores she does for her other half, from laying out his clothes to getting coffee ready and prepping his breakfast for the week. Not stopping there, she goes on to say that she cooks homemade meals and makes his plate and even puts his lunch in easy grab containers. It takes effort, and I'm tired, but making sure he feels loved and appreciated is important to me, she admitted. However, the video left some of the Mama One's social media outrage, with some insisting she's a wife, not his mom, saying mom or whatever. Quote, "Props to you, but nope, not doing it. He's a husband, not a child. He can find his clothes and fix his own plates, LOL, right?" wrote one. Second pen, quote, you're his wife, not his mom." Where others admitted they struggle to see any problem. "I see nothing wrong with this at all. I do the same for my husband as long as I'm being taken care of and appreciated," noted one. "This doesn't make me mad, but it does make me look bad," joked the second. A third commented, "Those are acts of love," while a fourth agreed. "IDK, I don't know why people would be mad about this. You are being a good wife." In response, the mom of one commented, "Oh, people think you're mothering your husband when you do things like this." Elsewhere, they further wrote, "Blows my mind that people would see an issue here. Now, the writer of this article says, I do the same. I serve my husband. He serves me in countless ways. We each have needs and strive to. Interesting article. But let's touch on something right quick. My first question is, all these women who tried to knock this woman for what she does for her husband, I didn't see not one of them ask, what does her husband do for her to make her feel she should do these duties for him? Interesting, because the article says, one, she's a full-time mom, full-time wife, which means most likely she stays at home. Most likely that means he goes out and he's the breadwinner. He, maybe besides her TikTok page, he's a primary breadwinner, which means probably, pay all the bills, buys her what she needs, gets what the kids need, so forth and so on. So, they say, he brings home the bacon and she, but she fried up in a pan. So, but it just shows you the mindset of a lot of women who feel that no matter that asking them to do something, automatically they feel less than. But best believe if the husband needs to do something, they would you can doggone be sure they're going to expect him to do what they want him to do at the drop of a hat. Like I said, I'm going to go back through this and, like I said, touch on this like bit by bit. Just like she went on list the chores she does for the other half. Like I said, laying out his clothes, get his coffee ready, and prepping his breakfast for the week. Now, I remember I used to have a aunt and uncle back in the day. The uncle, he passed a few years back, but his wife, every time we go down and visit, his wife would every morning wake up, make sure his lunch is packed, make sure he had his breakfast done. I don't know if he drank coffee or not, but she would make sure his thermos was full of water, his clothes was ready. You get up early in the morning. I mean, it had to be in prayer like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And he would get her stuff ready. I mean, she would get his, like I said, stuff ready for work, and he would go off to work. And she would be home all the time. Now, sometimes she would go and clean houses or what have you. Everything, we are in the South, so, it's a little country town, so they know that's what that was. But that's what she would do every morning. You know what I'm saying? When they went anywhere, he would drive. Now she would drive herself too. No, she had her own car. Don't get me wrong, but like they go somewhere together, he always drove, and she would be sitting like right up next to him on that truck. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they went somewhere, and like when we go visit, she would make sure that she would make sure that I, will be fed. Not that, his, like, her husband be fed, she would make sure that I be fed, they make sure, the men be taken care of, let the men be treated like husbands, but again, like I said, I'm just going by what she would do for him, like I say, and he would, because he's a primary breadwinner. So, I'm not understanding, like I say, why these females call themselves being all upset because she's doing her wifely duties. I mean, period. Let's just keep it at that. And then another question is, how many of the, what? I think one of the main problems is that we're getting away from, again, like I said in the beginning, we're getting away from family. And a lot of us as, Black Americans for sure. First of all, we went to the whole womenist stage back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s or whatever. And it, a lot of this stuff, destroyed the family in the hierarchy of marriage, which was implemented and placed in the Bible, in the scriptures. And the problem is we're getting away from that all around. I mean, you can take it to the schools, taking the prayer out, out of these schools. And a lot of these kids are going by the wayside. A lot of these kids, I would like to know how many people, like I say, who take offense to what she's doing for her husband, because she's not doing it for their husband, she's doing it for her husband. I think a lot of them get mad at the hell if their husband finds a woman who does that, they would leave them, they would cheat on them and go deal with that woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people are upset not because of the circumstances, but because of they would be more out of fear of losing what they had if they're they got it good. When people have it good, they don't want to lose a good thing. So if they ain't got to do much more than what they're already doing, hell, they don't want to lose that. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm saying, I think the major problem is, like I say, we're getting away from biblical testimony, biblical scripture, and one of the duties as a wife, is to be a virtuous wife. And you got to go read the book of Proverbs. I think it's 21. I have to go look. Don't quote me on that. But you got to go to the chapter about the virtuous wife, and it tells you exactly what the wife does. And there's no ifs, ands, there's no coding or deciphering or misinterpretation of it. You read it and read what it say, because truthfully, a lot of these women think that women are not supposed to go out and make money, not supposed to work, but that ain't what the Bible say. The Bible doesn't say anything like that. Because matter of fact, the Bible say, out of mind is the devil's workshop, which is good for truth, which is true for men and women alike. So a woman sitting at home doing nothing, just piddling in her brain, something, evil stuff can pop up in her head. Next thing you know, she done ran off with the pool boy. You feel what I'm saying? Or had a baby with the mailman and got the nerve to call him Junior. I mean, shoot, stuff like that has happened throughout the history. So, like I say, so basically, it shouldn't be nothing wrong. But like I said, if any women got any problems with what a woman should do, don't worry about what the man's supposed to do. Because like us, we have to worry about what we're supposed to do. We really don't want to have time to have to worry about what a woman thinks she's supposed to do or what her role is. We know what we want, but we know what we need to do too. So all I'm saying is that for a woman, and the men can read it too, but for a woman, you want to know what your role is. You know what I'm saying? Read the chapter about, the virtual wife. But then another thing is missing, like I was saying, the whole family aspect of actually dating and marriage, is missing. Because, you got to start with the root cause of the problem is how the relationship started. You understand? Because first of all, I know a lot of people do not want to be alone, period. So they'll scheme, be conniving, whatever, do whatever they need to do, catch a man or to catch a woman, to get them, to grab them, and then once they have them, they feel like, I got them, now it is what it is, now I can be who I am, and everybody looking confused and upset. But the whole courtship, well, it's not really a courtship. But you know what? Speaking of courtship, shout out to Ghetto Boys Reloaded podcast. I was listening to their podcast with this panel that was talking about, of all people, Kevin Samuels. And one of the guys brought up the subject of dating versus courting. And he was saying that the whole thing of dating really didn't start or come about or become prominent until like the 1950s. Everything before that was courting. And courting are two different things. And when you read it and when I studied it, it made sense to me. It made what's going on in the world make a lot more sense to me than it did before when it comes to dating and marriages and how long these marriages last and how long these relationships last and what's the problem with these relationships. Now we all try to say no premarital sex before dating, but we know that's kind of hard with the way the world is going. The way the world is, mentally it's just kind of hard to do because you just been trained. Period. Just been trained with the internet, entertainment, geared, a lot of the entertainment geared towards sex. We see a lot of people, like I said, with a lot of single parents out there, or a lot of dudes with, a bunch of baby mamas, because they just don't know no better. People want to blame the slavery, and this is what we, the white man broke us up, and so black men don't know how to be fat. Man, that's bullcorn. Because like I say, it was more black people married before the 50s and 60s, than anybody else in the country. I mean, we was family first because we knew we had to stick together. Because number one, it's all we had. We were all we had. So like I said, that's a bunch of bullcorn. That's just an excuse for people to do what they want to do, and then blame somebody else for, people did stuff. Don't get me wrong, they done stuff to try to break up the family, and they done a damn good job. But now it's time for us to, now that we see what has gone on and what's going on, so it's time for us to take control, take accountability of our own lives, and do what we need to do. So, like I said, I was looking up, researching this courting and dating, and interesting. I'm gonna go to a few little tidbits, and like I said, I'm gonna put the links in the description box of whatever I read, so y'all can go and read it more in detail, getting in depth. And this says yourtango.com, and it says 5 courtship rules all modern daters should know. I think we need to get back to courting instead of just dating. So let's see. Rule number 1: only court one person at a time. There's no shopping around. I can recall back in high school. Let me see. I can remember like 2 people that I dated in particular, and they both had, either a dad or stepdad in the house or what have you. Well, one of them I went to church with, so that made it a lot easier there, for the families to know each other and understand. Look at the, for our moms to look at the daughters, and for the, for the dads to look at, the sons, whatever the case may be, and be like, she ain't gonna be no good, and he ain't gonna be no good, or they're gonna be great for you, this and the third. You had that because older people can see. And that's what a lot of these young folks don't be understanding. Is like they just want to, right now they'll date people, and you'll never know who they dating, who they seeing, until something pop out, something jacked up happen, and then all of a sudden they want to come tell you, and you're like, who is this person? I didn't even know you was even seeing nobody. But back in the day, like I can think of one young lady in particular, we met at the movies, exchange numbers, start, dating or whatever, courting if you will. And when I went to go pick her up for one of our dates, I went to her house, went inside, met her dad, talked to her dad, talked to their mom, so, me, I starts down, silk shirt, everything, no waves, popping, whatever. But I was, like I say, it was a courting thing. You talk to the parents, and the parents, get to, figure you out. You don't always work out 100% of the time, but it's the best way to improve your, increase the chances of what you call a success. Okay, rule number 2, say men should pursue women. I think that's true too. I think a lot of times when women pursue men, I believe they're more emotional. I think that's how it can become physical a lot quicker if women pursue men, because I don't know. Women, you gotta tell me why you pursue men. What's the reasoning for y'all to pursue men? Now, when you're younger, I think the older you get, I don't want to use the word desperate, but the older you get, the more desperate you get. Time. You feel like you don't have a whole lot of time when you're kid. When you're young, you think you got all the time in the world to go out here and mess around, kick with as many dudes you want to, or boys kick with as many girls you want to. That's what we used to do. We used to try to go to movie theaters and see how many numbers we can pull. Who can pull the most numbers at the movies, dude? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Or Six Flags or wherever we went to. But see, dudes will try that stuff until the day they die. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I won't say that. I'm gonna put that on because that's a lie. But women, they might do it for a little while, but when they get older, it's like, shoot, look around. If you're looking up not to have no kids and you're still single, now you're like, shoot, it's time, trying to find a man. But again, you gotta let me know, women, why do y'all pursue a dude at whatever stage of life you in? They say family and community are central. Again, it goes back to, like I said, it's when you're dating someone or when you're courting somebody, when I was high school, I say the majority, I say 3, maybe 3. I can think of 3, no 4. I can think of 4. Girls that I had dated in high school. I met their families. They went all at the same time. I wasn't dating them all at the same time. So don't get that. I'm just saying, but that I met their parents. So it's like that's what it was. That's one of the criteria. Meet the parents. Even your parents will know who who you dating or whatever. Just that and the third, because they will come. They will come and meet your people when you go out to movies. You bring to the house. Hey, this so and so, this so and so. Man, go back to Leave the Beaver. That's what we need. You go see them times and how courting was. Let's say group activities are encouraged. That too. Now it says, nowadays a one-on-one date, that's a basic protocol for people in relationships. That's true. And I think you do need to go back to the whole, I guess that's why it's good for, people that's gonna eventually get married to start, I guess when you're young. Because you remember you used to go out to the movies with your homies, with your homegirls, or you go to the movies with somebody. So I can remember going to the movies with with a young lady, and she get out, and then next thing you know, the side of the truck get out, and all her little brothers come popping out like, what the hell, but she had her homegirls too, and I had me and my homeboy, we be all there, so it'd be like a group activity. And they say, like I said, this is especially when you're starting out. They say commitment precedes intimacy, and that's true because you're trying to prove your value, trying to prove your wealth, prove your value. At the same time, trying to see what the other person can, can bring to you. How can y'all work together to make this thing, happen and to be successful? And it could eventually, turn into a family, and and y'all can live happy ever after, or just live ever after. I don't know how happy y'all could be. Let me bring me to one more little example before I go. I was watching this show called American Monster. And this young lady, she was from a traditional family. Her mom and dad. Her dad went to, he worked, went to school. Mom stayed home, took care of the kids. They had 3, 4, 5 kids, I believe. He went to school to be a chiropractor, I believe. And they, moved from one state to another. But I think by the time the daughter turned 8, I think the parents had divorced. But the dad, the brothers, all of them still in her life. But she was raised with traditional values. I think her mom ended up getting remarried. And basically she had traditional family values, because she said one of her things was that all she knew was she wanted to be a great wife and a great mom. That was her whole goal in life. And it was like, man, so I'm looking at this like, that's, you don't hear that a lot. And the lady, she looked like she's younger than me. I mean, yeah, I think she was still in junior high, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe, when it started go. I can't remember, but I'm like I said, you don't see that a lot nowadays. It's everything is go on a date. Let's go on a date. Let's see how fast how good we can like each other. See how fast we can have sex or whatever. There's nobody's really. I mean, how many young people are we hearing nowadays saying that they want to be the best husband, the best father, or the best mother, or the best, wife that they can be? That's their whole goal, young people. But the thing is, I know that they are out there. The problem is we're not seeing it enough promoted mainstream. Matter of fact, stuff like this should be promoted not just in the church house. I'm not sure if it's even promoted in the church house no more. But it needs to be promoted in the church and outside of the church. As a matter of fact, need to get back to, I'm not really a religious person, but I'm you gotta have, to me personally, I feel like every child should go to church just so they can get that biblical teaching, so they can get the foundation. of how they're supposed to act, how they're supposed to treat people, and how they're supposed to treat people. If everybody treat people the same way, how they're supposed to treat you, you ain't gotta worry about how somebody treats you. You know what I'm saying? So, to get the right, hang around the right circles, and because when them teenage years hit, kids, shoot, we go astray, we do some throw it off stuff, but we want that stuff to stay in the teenage years. We don't want it to get out. People still doing the same thing when they 16 and 17, still doing the same thing at 26, 27, 37. We want everybody to be like, hey, we done our little dumb teenage stuff. We know what to do because we remember what we was taught as kids. And so now it's time to be grown. And now we understand it more. But anyway, that's all I got about this story. Again, it's crazy that people are upset with this lady. All because, she telling y'all what she does for her husband. And a lot of y'all feel like she's being a maid when that's not the case. Now, it'd be different if she worked all day, he worked all day, and he did nothing for her. Well, I ain't gonna say he did nothing for her, or he didn't do anything for her. I will say that. And she come home and work all day, whatever job she doing, then got to come home and cook, clean, take care of the kids all by herself, and all he did is come home and go to sleep. But then again, it depends on what the job is, but we're not going to get into those details. Anyway, tell me what you think. Leave a comment below and share it to the world. And with that being said, I leave you in peace, and I will see you on the other side.